Hey guys, what's going on? It's Nick here from ActionFigureFury.com bringing you another review. Today I got the Sideshow exclusive Stormtrooper 6 scale figure set by Hot Toys. And it obviously comes with two Stormtrooper figures of different sizes. And as the Sideshow exclusive, you're getting a blaster rack. We'll take it out of the packaging right now and I'll show you what's inside. Here's the insert inside. Here we have both of the Stormtroopers inside their packaging. He comes with some protection so that he doesn't get scratched up while he's shipping to you. Different padding and plastic. And the packaging actually has two different layers. The bottom layer contains the stands and looks like the weapons rack. Alright guys, so I was able to get both of the Stormtroopers outside of their packaging, and I need to tell you again that this is an amazing figure set. I said the Star Boost was amazing, and he was, but these Stormtroopers are even more amazing. I've been in love with Stormtroopers ever since I first saw them in the movies, and this is actually the first time that I am getting the opportunity to add them to my collection, because I haven't been collecting 6 scale for too long, maybe a couple years, and I missed out on Medicom and Sideshow's offerings. So these Hot Toys Stormtroopers are absolutely amazing. First of all, they come with figure stands. These are really actually kind of cool. So it's just like a basic stand, and you can pop these things off. And you can also pop the Star Wars Stormtrooper nameplate off. So then you basically just have a block of flooring, and you can do that with the other one. And then kind of combine the two flooring pieces together to get a large section of the Death Star, I guess. It's kind of cool. It's nice how you can kind of disassemble it and kind of get your own custom display. And they don't have lights in them or anything. They're just plastic. The standard stand that pops out. Nothing too impressive here, but it's really nice that you can kind of customize the stand to your liking. And then here we have the Sideshow exclusive weapon stand. It's kind of just a plastic frame that you can put the heavy blaster in. I don't know, it's pretty cool, because you obviously can't have your Stormtrooper holding both of their blasters and the heavy blaster at the same time, so the weapons rack is a cool idea, and I'm probably going to add it into my display. But the Stormtroopers are what's really awesome. Let's get a look up close, their heads. The proportions all seem very accurate. Even comparing them to Medicom and Sideshow, these guys look far superior than them. They have two different kinds of blasters, kind of a blaster pistol and like a normal blaster, I guess. And the Stormtrooper on the right has the blaster pistol in his hand right now, and then the larger Stormtrooper has the other blaster. And the other blaster can kind of unfold, and you can extend the weapon stock. You can see right there. You can extend his stock. They have the thermal detonators on their back. These are I'm not really the biggest fan of them. They're made of metal. I would have preferred if this was like plastic or something soft, because you just tuck it in right behind the Stormtrooper's belt. You can see right there. And if the Stormtrooper is moving a lot or you're trying to pose him a lot, I am sure you're going to have some rub on the back of his uniform. But other than that, both the blaster pistol and the large blaster fit in the holsters, which is kind of cool. The larger blaster is kind of a snug fit, but it is possible to get in there. And let's take one of these guys down. And we can see, I can show you the blaster. It has a lot of weathering on it. This is kind of like the only paint that we're actually getting in this Stormtrooper set. is on the weapons, but it is articulated, and you can fold up the stock, and you can have an alternate look for it, I guess, if you want. And the other blaster, these holsters are pretty nice. They're the magnetic ones, so it just snaps into place, really nice. You just got to be careful about the little magnets, make sure that they're glued on good, or the magnet will fall off if you're not careful. So here's this other blaster. It's just a blaster pistol. It's not articulated at all, but it does have some nice detail and nice sculpt, and I'm happy with that. There is a little bit of paint you can see up on his head here. There's a little bit of paint. His visor eyes are green, and all the paint is pretty spot on. There isn't much error or anything like that. There is some paint down here on his stomach. You do need to be really careful about the paint on his stomach on these buttons if you don't want it to be destroyed, because moving him will rub the paint off, so you kind of it's kind of a bad spot for there to be paint, but it is what it is. And each of the armor pieces are stuck on the figure. Hot Toys in its instructions recommend that you do not try to remove the head or any of the pieces of armor, because they're kind of all rubber banded on, like you can see right in there. The pieces are just rubber banded on, and I think they're all interconnected. I'm sure someone's gonna figure out how to disassemble him though and part him out on eBay. So overall, pretty cool. Let's get a size comparison of these two guys. So the littler one is about a quarter inch shorter than the larger one, which is nice because Stormtroopers obviously aren't all gonna be uniformity same size. So that was a cool idea, I thought, for the 2-pack. And as another accessory, you did this mouse droid. It's not the coolest thing you've ever seen, but you got it, I guess. And it has wheels that work and a little trailer hitch for something, I guess. And it rolls along just nicely. And so you probably want to see the articulation about now. Before we hit the articulation, let's check out this heavy blaster. It's articulated again, like the medium blaster. And I can't tell if the there we go, the ammo plate comes up, so that's really cool. I wasn't sure if it's kind of stuck. You might want to be careful if yours is kind of stuck too, so it doesn't break off. But it's got some nice details. The charging handle actually functions here, and then the bipod folds down real nice, and you can see it down there on the ground, nice. So now let's take a look at the articulation. I'll use this smaller Stormtrooper, and you can see his head movement. You can't go up too far, but it's pretty good. Decent range of motion around his head. You can turn his head in all directions. Not really a problem. There is a little bit of rub on his neck area. And then underneath, he's basically just got a true type body, and you can move his arms up. The shoulder is kind of restricted by this plate, but with the elastic bands in there, it gives you a little bit of movement room. You can bend his arm way past 90 degrees, which is super nice. And you kind of got to mess around with these armor pieces because they're all kind of separate, so you kind of got to push them up to get access to the joints. And then he's got wrist movement. His torso isn't the most articulated, you can see there, and he can kind of hunch down a little bit, but there's really not that much movement in there. I wish there would have been more, but Stormtroopers honestly don't move that much, so I think the amount of articulation that we have here is pretty decent. His hips can come up quite high, almost to 90, but not quite. And then he's got double jointed knees, which can get pretty good articulation. And you kind of got to be careful with his feet and moving his legs. If you move his legs too far, then you have his foot pop off like I have here. So I bent his knee far more than I should have, but it just pops back on, and it is kind of a pain to put back on. But overall, he's decently articulated, especially for a Stormtrooper. Alright, now I just want to show you guys a quick couple of poses that you can do with him. You can get his arms way up, so the articulation is decent, and you can also get him reaching for a weapons rack, whatever. But the articulation is decent, so don't be scared when I say that the articulation isn't as good as some other figures. It's just due to the Stormtrooper's costume, and you gotta move the pieces all around to get him to move. Here's another pose. You can see the Stormtrooper actually laying down using the heavy blaster. You could probably perfect this pose a little bit more, but you can actually get his head tilted up enough so that he appears to be looking down the sight. And the other pose I got this guy in is showing more of his articulation. He's decently articulated. You can see he can even stand on one foot without a stand. And here's one last pose for you. Got the guy holding the mouse droid, and this Stormtrooper is confused because he doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't even know what a mouse droid is. And before I forget, here's a look at the hands. We got a wide open left hand only, sort of open right hand, two pairs of fists, left and right, and a trigger hand. And then you also get a left-handed kind of relaxed hand like this right hand. My only complaint would be that there's only a left hand of the wide open hand. Otherwise, I think you got more than enough hands to do whatever you want to make your Stormtroopers do. Alright guys, well there's my review of the Hot Toys Stormtrooper 6 scale figure 2-pack. If you get the single figure, it's probably just as awesome, but 2 Stormtroopers is always better than 1. You're getting 2 complete figures, you're getting an exclusive weapons rack, you're getting 2 awesome stands that you can disassemble to make Death Star bases like I have assembled right now. And the figure's articulation honestly isn't too bad. It could be improved in some spots, particularly in the hips and the neck. The hips you can kind of get around by spinning the thigh armor so that you can move the legs up and down. But honestly, the articulation is pretty decent. The weapons are great. It might have been cool if the pistol blaster had some sort of articulation or some sort of interactive feature that I could play with. But other than that, this set is truly awesome. Thanks for watching this review, and if you're interested in purchasing this figure or the single figure, please check out the links in the description below. And I'll see you guys next time.